A Cut Amongst Men here. This is my review of Animal Man by Grant Morrison. I really like this story. Now, it starts off as like a pretty typical superhero story, like he just fights crime, a lot of animal related crime. There's this really interesting part at the beginning. He's fighting a supervillain and uses the power of a worm to regenerate his arm. There's a part with like Wile E. Coyote where Wile E. Coyote kills God, essentially. So it's Crafty Coyote, and he's from the cartoon reality. But he didn't want to be, so he left and reached Earth before eventually dying. There was a part with like an invasion of Hawkman's race, which I didn't expect. I thought Hawkman and Hawkgirl were like an Earth thing, like gods or something, like a deity. Then there was an interesting part with the depressed superhero, the red, sorry, I forget his name. It's the red something. Red Mask. What I really didn't like was the part with Vixen. Vixen in general, I'm not too big a fan of. Yeah, and then there's these weird aliens that like abduct him. Wasn't too big a fan of that. I did like the part with I at least really liked this cover. And the section following it where he just keeps duplicating. It really gets interesting towards the end, where he ends up, where he ends up being able, this is where it really starts to break the fourth wall. He ends up meeting the original Animal Man because he was retconned and changed. So now the original Animal Man is dead and fading. And then this is like the best part. Where he goes, "I can see you," and he looks at me, the reader. And then there's a part with the Psycho Pirate where he brings all these obscure characters like Overman or I don't know, like Sunshine Superman. Well, first Animal Man's family dies. Then he goes back in time to rescue them. And while doing so, he ends up meeting Psycho Pirate and all the weird variants and stuff. He ends up going to this place with all the obscure characters like Happy Man or the Red Bee, and then talking to Grant Morrison himself, the writer, about how his entire existence and the existence of everybody around him is a lie. How there is no such thing as superheroes. And then he talks about how, like, yeah, I killed your family because it's a part of the story. and you getting mad at me because I killed your family is a part of the story. They reference the Doom Patrol. He said, you write the Doom Patrol too? Yeah, but they don't know. And then there's Negative Man and Crazy Jane. Then he talks about how, like, your life is written by a group of people. Don't you notice how reality kind of changes whenever you're on the Justice League or whenever you appear in someone else's story? Like, you're not real. It's really interesting. It talks about how there is no fourth wall, because that's just the writer making the character like that. Another section I forgot to mention was when Animal Man gets attacked by the Mirror Master, and Martian Manhunter comes and helps him fix his house and fix his powers, because at that point he was getting a migraine whenever he was using his powers, because he was feeling all the other animals around him. And there was this part where he goes on vacation to France with Metamorpho, Elongated Man, and then I don't know that guy's name. Like, the Crimson Dynamo, maybe? I think that's a Marvel character, though. And they have to fight the Time Commander. Yeah, that's all I have to say. But probably one of my favorite comics of all time. This was a great read. I highly recommend it.